wanted to let you know I have this big meeting tomorrow. So, if you were trying to reach me, just give me a call, whenever. Okay. Well, I love you. Bye. As you probably know, as you may know, my parents, you worked with them. This is a story about facing adversity. A story about rising out from the ashes. Overcoming the odds. Righting what's wrong in the world. This is a story that will define our aimless generation. And that is why I think with someone of your caliber, your directing expertise, and my script, we can put the whole filmmaking world on its ear. What do you say, Director A? Director A?
What's that now?
My script? What do you think of my script?
Oh yes, your script. It's rather dark, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess, but...
The story is completely gratuitous, to say the least.
It's more than a story. It's somewhat of a social commentary on the anxiety-induced...
Now, when you came to me with all this, I had my doubts. But if you're half the writer that your parents are...
Were.
I don't see why not. I guess I'm on board.
That's great. I'm honored to have someone of your prestige on board. I promise you will not regret this.
Now, how will you be paying me?
Excuse me?
My pay. Who do you have funding all this?
Well, don't you have a crew?
Yes.
And equipment?
Yes.
Then what seems to be the issue?
The world doesn't run for free. Now, you seem like a fine young gentleman, Daniel. But until you have funding, or some corporate cat that can accommodate my services, then I'm afraid that I'm of no use. But if you do, however, feel free to come right back in that door.
But what about...
Off you go now.
Well, that was quite a read. In a good way, that is.
You like it?
It's different, to say the least. Very sad. Very dark, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I wanted to ensure that.
I mean, the story is intriguing, but it needs a lot of work. It leaves a lot to be desired.
I'm not sure I follow.
Well, David, this screenplay is littered with death and depression, which, quite honestly, makes me question.
It's all necessary for his character development. You see what...
Wait. He goes from being depressed to more depressed. I mean, that's hardly character development. Now, I can live with the parents dying and losing his job, but you give the impression that he's going to turn things around, and instead, it only gets worse. Now, what we need is a romantic angle. Like, instead of the wife leaving...
She has to leave him. It all works up towards the climax.
So he can kill himself? I mean, your idea of overcoming adversity is ending
The
it?
death scene is essential to this film.
And why is that?
Because only then will they know what they missed out on.
Who will?
Everyone who's turned their back on him.
Don't get me wrong here. It's well written. The script is well written. And relatable enough for the audience to grasp up until then. But you've got to understand, we can't condone these kind of messages. There's just no market for it. Now listen, David, we can work with this. We really can. Just not in its current state. You know, I see a story here of somebody burdened by life, but who walks away with his head held high. It's just, you and I have a different perception of what that's all about.
I just feel like changing anything at this point would wreck the integrity of the story.
I know. Writers write from experience, but David.
I appreciate your time, Mr. Stevens. I'm afraid we reached an impasse. Hey, so my script got picked up. Yay! Yeah, well, I'm here unpacking, you know. Just give me a call whenever you want. Maybe we can grab lunch or something soon. Take it from you soon. Bye. I appreciate your time, Mr. Stevens, but I'm afraid we reached an impasse.
David, why are you so intent on being stubborn?
Because I believe in this story.
And why is that?
Because it's all I have left, and nobody loves a washed-up writer.
Just leave it here. And I'll call you.
Thank you.
David. You did the right thing. David. Scott Stevens. Yeah, listen, I've been looking at the script. It's good. Let's do it.